This is the weekly updated tactics video. Today we will be talking about the 4-4-1-1 midfield, but sometimes you need more than one striker up top. That is why I will also be talking about the 4-4-2 flat formation, and lastly the 4-2-3-1 narrow formation. How it is similar and it can be better than the 4-2-1-3 in some situation. Talking about the 4-4-1-1 midfield, guys, this is my favorite formation. I have been running it since 1 year, going all the way back to FC24. This is the most common way of playing, right? Last time I showed you this is how I was playing it. And it's a very good way of still playing this formation. Inside forwards, inside forward. I've been taking breaks from this game lately, but guys, when I came back and played some games again, when I was playing properly, I recognized one thing, that inside forward is too narrow for me. And for most players that I coach, they have complained that okay, inside forward is very narrow for us. And there is little defensive support when we lose the ball in the middle of the pitch, since the wingers are inside, and by the time they come back to their shape, it's too late. Now, I want to clear one more thing. Some people ask me what is the difference without ball and with ball. Guys, without ball shows you the formation shape you will have when you are not in ball possession. That means if you are playing a 4-4-1-1 and if you don't have the ball, you will defend in a 4-4-1-1. It doesn't matter what instructions you put on the players, I mean the roles. Regardless of the player roles, they will play in a 4-4-1-1. When you have the ball, that is when they will shift to the designated player role. So lately I have switched my left back again back to fullback, and the right back is also fullback. I'm using my left mid as a winger, my left center midfielder as holding. Also, my right CM I'm using as holding, right? Sometimes when I need more from my players and I see, okay, the opponent isn't at my level, what I do is I switch to playmaker. This is something you can do as well. If you want more support going forward, playmaker roaming, it's really good. Try it out if you haven't already. It's really good. Otherwise, I would recommend starting the game in a 4-4-1-1 holding variation, because that way you have more solid defense at the back. Now, before you say, okay, but you just said that it doesn't affect when we are not in ball possession. Guys, I said that and it is true. But see, when you're playing holding, that means your players will be staying back. Let's say I put both of them on playmaker attack, okay? If I put them both on playmaker attack, they will push up. And the moment I lose the ball, my defense will be open because both of my CMs were attacking. Eventually, they will drop back and play in the 4-4-1-1. But by the time they do that, it might be too late since the opponent might be on a break by then. That is why we use holding to have more support, okay, at the start of the game. But again, you can keep one player as a playmaker if that's what you want. I use Sané as an inside forward because finish shots are really overpowered. I don't need to speak more about them. You already know that. So yeah, if you have someone with finesse, use them as an inside forward. The Cam is going to be a playmaker because of the over-the-top through balls. Shadow Striker is good. If you're losing the game, I would suggest use Shadow Striker. But when you use them as a playmaker, they also offer you a lot of defensive support. The striker, however, I am using still as a target forward. Great for linking up the play. But if it is something that you don't like, you can put advanced forward. For the tactics, I've switched to defensive approach, balance 60, build up style, short passing. Here is the code for the updated 4-4-1-1. Please don't spam code in the comments. Someone recently in the comments said that the 4-4-2 is dead. I disagree, guys. The 4-4-2 is really good. If you put one of your strikers as a false nine and the other one as a poacher, this is the formation you get, okay? And then you can also have a CM playing as a playmaker. That way you can have more link up, but again, you can also use holding, same reasons as explained in the 4-4-1-1. This way you can play the first time over the top through balls, and you have more pace in the middle of the pitch when you're trying to pass the ball, as the striker will drop deep as compared to using as a target forward or advanced forward. Target forward balance is something you can use, but false nine is the best for what we want from our striker in this formation. Same thing. Right mid is going to be an inside forward. The left mid is going to be a winger. All right. And our fullbacks are going to be fullback. Keeper is going to be a sweeper keeper. I use 4-4-2 mainly as an attacking formation. That is why I use more depth. 67 line height. And the build-up play is going to be short passing. This is the most popular formation in the game, and I talked about it last week, guys. The 4-2-1-3. And someone in the comments rightly said that in 4-2-1-3, the forwards get pressed a lot. And that is true. The reason for that is your left winger is isolated, your right winger is isolated, your striker is isolated, there is some link up with the cam. But CDMs in this game, you cannot push them forward. In previous games, we had the stay back while attacking instruction. That way, they would still push up. But in FC25, there is no way you can make your CDMs push forward on the pitch. That is why you see the isolation. It has its cons, it has its pros. The pros with this formation are that because of the two CDMs, guys, you are always locking the cam of the opponent. That way, he cannot play over the top through balls from the middle of the pitch. However, it is still very much possible if you have a left cam or a right cam, you can do it if they have long ball pass plus. That is why the 4-2-3-1 is very good, and it does counter this formation, which I will talk about in a while. So we have these two players, right? They are playing as deep lying playmakers or center. One is center half, the other is holding. Regardless of any roles you put, they will be more like traditional CDMs. That is why there is isolation. Still a great formation. Do I recommend it? I absolutely recommend it still. It's a great formation. It is not something I use from minute one. These are the instructions or roles, whatever you want to call them. Same as last week. I use it when I want to counter this formation. I sometimes counter it with the 4-2-1-3 because I don't have the players for the 4-2-3-1. But it is a great counter formation if you have the cams, right? In the 4-2-3-1 narrow, guys, what I would do is I would switch these wingers for cams. I would use both of these left wing back and right wing back, or left back, right back as wing backs. We have seen Oberon use them as attacking wing backs a month ago. It does work, but you need to be a really good defender, which he is. For you guys, I would recommend using wing back. Wing back, one's center half, the other is deep lying or holding. Middle cam is going to be a playmaker, so you link up your CDMs with the cam, and then the outside cams can be shadow striker and playmaker, but one of them needs to have a silver or golden long ball pass. Plus, Bruno Fernandes is really good for this formation for the middle of the pitch. Alexia can play out wide, and then you can have a fast cam. There are many options. And then for the striker, you want to use either poacher or target. Okay, this is the best for this formation. If you have someone like Laporte, the new Laporte, he's cheap, but he's very good for this formation. You need a tall guy who can bully the opponent. This formation does counter the 4-2-1-3. Now you might be asking me, which one is better? It is personal preference, but if you have the right playstyles on the cams, I think the 4-2-3-1 is a harder formation to deal with compared to the 4-2-1-3 because there is less isolation in the attack. So that means you are able to beat the opponent's press rather easily. This is the current FC25 tactics meta. That's pretty much about it.